Around 600 million people chew this leaf every day. The WHO put what they are chewing on the same cancer list as cigarettes, and the country where half the population uses it now holds the highest oral cancer rate on Earth. A 2025 study called this plant a paradox because the leaf alone fights cancer, while the way people use it causes cancer. So how did a green leaf become the fourth most popular drug on the planet? The oldest drug habit nobody in the West has ever heard of. Betel leaf comes from a vine called Piper betel. It belongs to the same family as black pepper, and on its own the leaf carries antibacterial compounds and antioxidants that traditional healers across Asia have used for over 2,000 years. Indian farmers call it the green gold because around 20 million people in India alone earn their living growing it, but almost nobody chews the leaf on its own. What actually happens is people take that leaf, spread slaked lime paste on it, drop in slices of areca nut from the Areca catechu palm, sometimes throw in tobacco, fold the whole thing into a tight little triangle and tuck it between their cheek and gum. That folded package is called betel quid, or pan across South Asia, and it delivers a hit of arecoline, a stimulant alkaloid that makes you feel warm, alert, and mildly euphoric. The effect is similar to a strong cup of coffee mixed with a pinch of nicotine. Your heart rate goes up, your mouth floods with bright red saliva from the chemical reaction between the ingredients. And if you keep doing it every day, which 600 million people do, the inside of your mouth starts to change in ways that cannot be undone. That red spit you see staining sidewalks across India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Papua New Guinea is the visible signature of the fourth most consumed psychoactive substance in the world, right behind caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. And the story of how it got there goes back further than almost any other drug on Earth. Skeletons from 3000 BCE already had red stained teeth from chewing. Archaeologists found the oldest confirmed evidence of betel chewing in a burial pit inside Duyong Cave on Palawan Island in the Philippines. The skeletons were dated to around 2680 BCE, and their teeth carried the exact same red-brown stains you see on chewers today. The grave even contained shells filled with lime, the same calcium hydroxide people still mix into betel quid right now. That means humans have been chewing this combination for at least 4,700 years. The practice spread across the Pacific with Austronesian seafarers, reaching Micronesia by around 3,500 years ago, South India and Sri Lanka by 3,500 years ago, and mainland Southeast Asia shortly after. Indian texts dating to 504 BCE reference betel chewing. The Kama Sutra mentions it as a tool of seduction. Hindu and Buddhist ceremonies still use areca nut wrapped in betel leaf as offerings to gods during weddings, births, and funerals. In Vietnam, the phrase for discussing marriage translates directly to matters of betel and areca. In Assam, offering betel leaf and areca nut to a guest is as automatic as offering water. In parts of Micronesia, women with red-stained teeth from years of chewing are considered beautiful, and women with white teeth are not. This is not some underground habit. This is one of the oldest continuous drug traditions in human civilization. And the chemistry that makes it addictive is the same chemistry that makes it deadly. What the lime actually does. Inside your mouth is where everything goes wrong. When slaked lime hits areca nut inside a wet mouth, the high pH triggers the release of arecoline. That alkaloid passes through the mucous membranes in your cheek directly into your bloodstream. The exact same absorption route that nicotine takes when you chew tobacco. The brain gets a quick hit of alertness and mild euphoria, which is why people get hooked. But the alkaloids in areca nuts also generate reactive oxygen species, which are free radicals that rip into the DNA of the cells lining your mouth, your tongue, and your throat. Slaked lime is calcium hydroxide and it is corrosive. It burns the soft tissue at the exact spot where the quid sits for hours, and that chronic chemical burn forces your body to regenerate cells faster than normal. Faster cell turnover combined with DNA damage from free radicals is a textbook formula for cancer. And cancer is not even the first problem. The first thing that happens is a condition called oral submucous fibrosis. The tissue inside your mouth scars and stiffens. Fibrous bands form across your cheeks, your palate, and sometimes your throat. Your jaw locks progressively tighter until you literally cannot open your mouth all the way. The condition is chronic, progressive, and irreversible. Cases have been documented in patients as young as 11 years old, and oral submucous fibrosis makes oral cancer 19.1 times more likely according to clinical research. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classified betel quid as a Group 1 carcinogen in 2004, the same category as plutonium and mustard gas. Even betel quid prepared without tobacco causes cancer in humans. That was not a soft recommendation. That was a definitive scientific ruling, and what happened after that ruling is the part that should make you angry. Half of Papua New Guinea chews every day. And the cancer numbers are horrifying. Papua New Guinea holds the highest incidence of oral cancer anywhere on the planet. The WHO reported rates of 34.8 cases per 100,000 men and 21.7 per 100,000 women. Oral cancer became the single most common cancer in men across the country and the third most common in women. Annual oral cancer deaths jumped from around 15,000 to roughly 25,000 in just a few years. About half of Papua New Guinea's 9 million people chew betel quid daily. In some communities, lifetime chewing rates reach 93%. Children start before adolescence. The areca palm grows everywhere in the lowland and coastal regions, so the raw material costs almost nothing. Port Moresby, the capital, tried banning betel nut sales. The ban triggered public protests. Officials partially rolled it back, and sales kept booming in designated areas. The healthcare system cannot handle the caseload. Head and neck cancer surgeries require specialized skills that most hospitals in the country simply do not have. Patients show up with late-stage tumors because awareness is low. Fear of the medical system runs deep, and the nearest clinic might be a multi-day journey through terrain with no paved roads. By the time a tumor gets diagnosed, the surgery required to remove it often means taking out parts of the jaw, the tongue, or the throat, and then reconstructing the face so the person can still swallow and speak. Those operations are among the hardest in all of surgery, and the doctors trained to perform them are almost non-existent in rural Papua New Guinea. A surgeon published a piece in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2022, comparing the betel nut crisis directly to the early tobacco epidemic. The critical difference is that tobacco eventually triggered a global regulatory response because it affected wealthy populations in powerful countries. Betel quid mostly affects marginalized communities in developing nations who lack the political power to force change. But Papua New Guinea is not the only place where this is accelerating. China gave away free betel nut with COVID masks and expects 250,000 new cancer cases. In Hunan province, betel nut sales have been climbing by 10% annually. The products come in fruity flavors with bright packaging and catchy marketing aimed at working-class populations. Public health experts projected a potential 250,000 new oral cancer diagnoses in Hunan alone between 2016 and 2030. During the pandemic, betel nut corporations in Hunan distributed free kits that paired face masks with packets of betel nut. A company selling a confirmed carcinogen used a global health emergency to push more products into people's hands. Chinese officials finally responded in late 2021 with a selective advertising ban. But the ban did not require health warning labels on the product. Compare that to cigarettes, which carry graphic warnings in most of the world. Betel nut packets across huge regions of Asia and the Pacific still carry no health warnings at all. As of 2022, it remained legal to sell an addictive Group 1 carcinogen without a single warning label across much of the planet. The industry knows science. The science has been settled since 2004, and the gap between what researchers have proven and what regulators have done about it keeps stretching wider every year. Now flip this whole story around, because the leaf by itself tells a completely different tale. The leaf alone. actually fights the exact cancer that the quid causes. This is the twist that makes the betel leaf story so bizarre. The piper betel leaf, separated from areca, nut and lime, contains compounds that laboratory research shows can fight the very cancers that betel quid creates. Hydroxychavicol is the primary bioactive compound in betel leaf. Research published in peer-reviewed pharmacology journals demonstrated that it acts as a potent antioxidant, neutralizing the same type of free radicals that areca nut generates. Animal studies showed that aqueous betel leaf extracts either had no tumor-causing activity or actually reversed tumor growth that known carcinogens had triggered. The antibacterial results are even more striking. A comparative study testing ethanol extracts from 12 different medicinal plants against drug-resistant bacteria found that piper betel was the only plant out of all 12 that killed every single pathogen tested, including MRSA and vancomycin-resistant Enterococcus. The leaf contains eugenol, chavibetol, allylpyrrocatechol, and dozens of other phenolic compounds that function as natural antimicrobials. One study measured its radical scavenging activity at 89% inhibition using the DPPH assay, which puts it in the top tier of antioxidant plants tested anywhere. A 2025 paper published in Natural Product Research called this the paradox of Payan. The betel leaf itself may carry anti-cancer properties, but the way humans actually consume it, wrapped around areca nut and slaked lime, transforms the entire package into a confirmed carcinogen. Traditional Ayurvedic medicine recommended the leaf for mouth health, wound healing, and digestion for centuries. The historical irony is devastating. A leaf that healers praised for protecting mouths became the wrapper for a substance that destroys them. 20 million people grow this leaf. For a living in climate change is killing their farms. India is the global centre of betel leaf cultivation. The industry produces an annual turnover of approximately 10 billion rupees, or around $120 million US. Betel vine farming provides employment directly or indirectly to an estimated 20 million people across states including West Bengal, Odisha, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Farmers grow betel vines inside handmade structures called bareyas, enclosures of straw and grass that control temperature, humidity and sunlight. The vine demands very specific conditions. Too much heat kills it, too little moisture kills it. Temperature swings cause black spots and chlorosis, which is the loss of green colour from the leaves. The vine needs between 750 and 4,750 millimetres of annual rainfall and temperatures between 15 and 40 degrees Celsius. Step outside that range and the crop fails. About 100 varieties of betel vine exist worldwide, with around 40 grown in India alone, and each one responds differently to environmental stress. March 2022 was the hottest March in India since records began 122 years earlier, and it hammered betel farms across the country. In Bangladesh, farmers build their own version of barehas called baroos, fenced with bamboo and covered with paddy leaves, and those farms took similar hits from erratic monsoon patterns that have become harder to predict every year. In Mahoba, Uttar Pradesh, the number of betel farmers dropped from over 550 to about 150. The cultivated area collapsed from 200 acres to just 20. In coastal Odisha, over 80% of the population in several villages depends on betel cultivation, and industrial land acquisition has started demolishing their vineyards. The farming families caught in the middle did not create the health crisis. They grow a leaf. What consumers and manufacturers do with that leaf, wrapping it around areca, nut and tobacco, and marketing it to hundreds of millions of people with zero health warnings, is a completely different set of decisions made by a completely different set of players. The world regulates every other popular drug. Except this one. Caffeine faces age restrictions in some countries. Nicotine carries graphic health warnings on every pack sold in most of the world. Alcohol faces advertising limits, taxation, and legal drinking ages in nearly every nation. Betel quid, the fourth most consumed psychoactive substance on Earth, operates with almost none of those controls. You can buy areca nuts in fruity flavours at corner shops across all of South and Southeast Asia. No health warning labels are required in most countries. Children buy and chew it openly. The whole package costs less than $1. The FDA placed areca nuts on its poisonous plants database. Several Indian states banned gutka, the pre-mixed combination of areca nuts with tobacco. But enforcement stays inconsistent, and plain areca nut products sit on shelves without restriction. In Australia, betel quid shows up in Asian grocery stores from Sydney to Tasmania to Cairns, sold to immigrant communities who brought the habit with them. Dubai banned the import and sale of betel quid entirely, one of the few places on Earth to take that step. But across the countries where the vast majority of those 600 million users actually live, the product remains completely unregulated. 600 million users, a 4,700-year-old tradition, a leaf that carries genuine medicinal power, an areca nut that the WHO confirmed causes cancer. Oral cancer accounts for up to 40% of all malignancies across parts of Asia, where betel quid chewing is common. And almost zero regulatory response from any government on the planet with the resources to actually do something about it. The betel leaf did not cause this crisis. But it became the wrapper that made the crisis easy to hold in your hand, easy to tuck in your cheek, and almost impossible to put down. If you want more stories where ancient traditions crash into modern science and the numbers hit harder than you expected, hit subscribe. More breakdowns like this are coming, and we will see you in the next one.